All right, all right, all right. Just having a little technical difficulties getting started here. But we are getting started. Ready to rock and roll for Thursday night. Still trying to get my groove on, figuring out how I'm going to do this each time, but we're slowly getting there. It's just taking a moment, but we're getting there. Anyways, let's get these set up so I can see you all. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Just finishing getting everything set up. Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Where are we all coming from tonight? Let's see. Getting it pulled up here. Let me pull this down so I can actually grab it. Let's see. I don't know why this one. A little bit better. There we go. All right. We'll see if that works. Trying to get it adjusted here a little bit. Abuse is Abuse in the house on TikTok. Hello. If you guys haven't had a chance to be able to check out Abuse is Abuse, check out Bree with a narcissistic mom. And she also just released a course recently that she needs more feedback on. So go ahead and check out that course. So it got some awesome stuff on there. All right. There we go. Texas, Canada, all over the place. Where else are we from? Northern Virginia. Hey, that's where I'm at. Montana, California, Jersey, New York, Florida, California, South Florida, Canada, Ottawa, California, all over the place. That's awesome. All over the place. Well, we're going to be all over the place as well. So we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff coming up. If you guys haven't had a chance to be able to hear, just popped up on my story on Instagram and also on Lee Hammock's. I kind of used some of his because he was calling out some of the stuff that we talked about. We just confirmed a couple nights ago. We just released it the other night when we were on live yesterday that officially we do have a workshop coming up as of September 24th. Super excited about that. And it's going to be not broadcasted anywhere. It's actually going to be live in person in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And if you're interested in learning more about that, you can click on the link in the bio, be able to check that out. It's on my link in the bio. It's also on Lee's link in the bio. It doesn't matter. You can grab and you can book on each one. It's going to be a small amount of people that are going to be there. Max of like 20 spots. I think there's already like 1 or 2 that's already taken since we just released it. So if you want to be able to meet with us one-on-one in that group setting, will be like 20 people max, and also doing this workshop. So we're super excited about that. So definitely check that out. That's coming up. And October 15th, we're going to be in Austin, Texas. That's coming up, and we are super excited about that. There's going to be 10 creators there. There's going to be 10 creators there for this meet and greet, and we are super excited. It's going to be really incredible. A couple of things just to give you a sneak peek, because tickets haven't released yet. They're going to release on the 22nd. So the 22nd of this month, tickets are going to be released. That way you can actually book your time there. There's a couple of reasons why. 1, to make sure we don't overflow the venue. 2, because you're going to have the opportunity to be able to book with one of those 8 out of 10 are actually going to be doing one-on-ones. So they're going to be willing to meet with you, sit down in person, one-on-one, to be able to talk through whatever situation, scenario you have, interact with you, and be able to give you advice right there on the spot. Like, super excited about that. We're going to have 2 hours of that where you can schedule with any of those 8 out of 10 creators that are going to be doing one-on-ones. Then we're also going to have an exclusive question and answer that's going to be happening there as well. About an hour and a half. And that one I think is limited to about like 40 people. And then the meet and greet is going to be regular, about 3 hours hours long, and that'll be for everybody to mill around. Towards the end of the meet and greet will be when all of us kind of get up and speak, kind of give some words of inspiration, just try to be able to encourage, and then also share a couple of videos of some creators that aren't able to be there as well. So that's coming up October 15th in Austin. Keep an eye out. We'll put it on our links and our bios, all that kind of stuff. That'll happen here by the 22nd is when we'll start releasing the tickets for that, once we finalize the last couple things as we tour the venue and a couple other things going on. So anyways, that's like the super exciting stuff that's coming up. If you guys haven't had a chance to be able to see, as of this week, I just started Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm actually doing live question and answers on YouTube and Facebook at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And so what that looks like is it's kind of like a show idea in one sense, where basically I'm on and people kind of like call in and they pop on screen, ask questions, share some of their story, and then jump back off. So would love to have you interact with that. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday of this month at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Super excited. There's like a crap ton more things that are going on, but those are just like the main ones. There's like another like 5 things that are happening, but I'm not going to bore you with all the other things that are happening, but super excited. There's a lot of stuff going on. So anyways, it's great to be here. It's great to see you guys. Yeah, we can throw any links and stuff. I can try to throw some of the links in the chats here for you guys to be able to see. Let me see if I can pull the one up real quick. Put a type on this. There you go. All right, I will drop this link in really quick. So you guys have it. Do with it what you will. This is the one for Virginia. Again, the ones for October actually are not released yet, so I can't give you that one. What I would say, if you really are excited about it and you can't wait to be able to see it, then check out narcavengers.com. It'll be coming there, but it'll be in a little bit. We're waiting on the last couple things to be able to come in, and then that'll happen. So anyways, let's start with some questions, right? You guys want to jump into some questions? Oh yeah, there's other stuff. So Rising from the Ashes, thanks so much. I just saw that. So TikTok, we just got approved for like subscription for lives. I don't really know what that is. They just told me to enable it. Rose sent it to me and they were like, hey, like do this. And I was like, okay. And then YouTube like prompted me to do it as well. So I don't even know what I'm doing, but it's there and it's exciting, and you'll get like prompted and let you know like, hey, whenever things are popping up of when we're going live. A lot of times we're going live throughout the week now, those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays again, but then also going live on Wednesday nights, on Thursday nights, and if you're around at all, on Monday nights inside the Narc app. So anyways, let's start dropping in some questions. That's like enough of my spiel of like everything that's going on. There's a lot of other things going on, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that right now because we're here to answer some questions. We're here to walk through some stuff. So let me like catch up and figure out what's going on here. Dating, how to tell the difference between a super sweet romantic guy and a narcissist early on when dating, and ways to put people to the test early during dating. I think one of the first things would say, like, tell them no. You know, have something where you actually say, no, I don't want to do that. Like put up some boundaries early on. And those boundaries aren't for the other person. Those boundaries are for you, okay, of how much you're going to put up with, how much you're going to take. And you want to have those boundaries in place. Think of it this way, because a lot of people don't think of it this way. You have boundaries that are 2 different types of boundaries. You have reactionary boundaries, which is, hey, I got cheated on. That means in this relationship, I don't want to get cheated on, right? That's a boundary. Like, don't cheat on me. And then you have actionary boundaries, which are like, hey, my vision and values are going this direction. And so as a result, anyone that's not aligned with me in this direction, now it's not like all random stuff, but it's like, hey, if people aren't aligned with me in this direction, saying they're going to help support, or they're actually willing to go that direction with me in a positive environment, in a positive way, that becomes a boundary in of itself. A lot of times people ask, like, who are the ones that, you know, narcissists look for, or like which people, you know, do narcissists pick out? You know, the typically ones the narcissists pick out. It's not the easily naive ones. It's not the people that make a lot of money or like the greatest people ever. You know what it boils down to? It's typically 2 things. The people that the narcissists pick typically comes down to they don't have boundaries and they don't know who they are. And as a result, they don't have a direction of where they're going. They don't have a direction of where they're going. And as a result, everything pulls them aside. Okay. So think of it that way whenever you're first starting out in dating. Also, side note, if you're looking into dating, okay, one of the things I would recommend is our own Rofe, Roller Coaster of Love. She made a course inside the NARC app that is healthy dating after abuse. Check it out. Anyways, what do you got? Why do narcissists withhold physical affection? A lot of times it makes you work harder. It's a form of triangulation. Of like, if I'm going to pull something back from you, it's breadcrumbing. Sorry, it's actually breadcrumbing. So if I'm going to pull something back from you, then you're going to keep trying. You're going to keep trying to do better. You're going to start wondering in your mind, like, wait a second, what's wrong? I told mine how much I valued physical affection, kissing, etc. He used it against me. It's power. Yeah, absolutely. It's power and control. Like, if I know what you want, that means I can control you. If I know that you want chocolate, then I'll be like, hey, you want the chocolate? You want the chocolate? Yeah, because I can control you with that. If I can trick you, I control you. Thanks, Lee Hammock. How come as soon as I stood up for my self-worth, for my own boundaries and needs, I got discarded after 21 years in a covert narcissistic relationship? My intuitions told me that this was going to happen, but I was too afraid because the narcissist got tired of dealing with you standing up for yourself. Like, really, that's it. Like, they get used to, hey, this is easy. This is great. I can get with this person. I can do whatever the heck I want, and I win because I get all this stuff. I get to do whatever I want, whatever it might be. And then when you start setting up boundaries of like, wait a second, like, I'm no longer going to tolerate this in my life. I'm no longer going to go this direction in my life. They're like, oh, like, forget this. I'm out. Okay. 1 year, no contact tomorrow. Awesome. Awesome. That is awesome to hear. They can't handle it when we stand up for ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My ex started sharing his location, which I find super odd. Your thoughts on why I do that? Trigger you, make you reach out, mess with your head. Co-parenting. My narc only helps me financially care for our children. He's unavailable for much else. That's pretty typical, and you shouldn't really expect more, especially from a narcissist, unfortunately. Look up parallel parenting because that's pretty much the best you're going to get. After my experience, I'm afraid to date at all. 100% get that. And take time to make sure you're healing yourself before you even try to get out there. What does it mean when they say you're not learning the lessons? Wow, like, that's really crazy. I actually just recorded a video today that's coming out next week about how narcissists love to belittle and criticize and then teach. They want to like tear you down and then be like, let me show you how it's done. Or, this isn't how you're supposed to do it. Like, you're supposed to do it this way. But yeah, so a lot of times, like, they want to be the person that's like teaching and like making sure like, hey, you're the one that needs to do it this way. 55 days. Awesome. That's really cool. He used to devalue me and would address him. He doesn't like it. Should I be worried about his reaction to being sent to jail physically for harassing me? Hopefully you got a protection order. I would definitely be careful whenever he's getting out. I would be more safe than sorry. So just please be careful. 67 days free from my narc. Awesome. Mine said he's teaching me all the time. Yeah, no, it's actually like a thing, especially with covert narcissists, is like, they're going to fix you. They're going to teach you how to do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. If anybody wonders that like little like thing inside beside Rising from the Ashes, if you can see that on TikTok specifically, it says AGHC. Everybody's probably like, what the heck is AGHC? So what they did is we just started like subscription on lives. It's a new thing evidently on TikTok, and it pops up. But one of the things in Rising from the Ashes, you're actually the first person. So thank you so much, because we just enabled last night, I think. But what that is that's the 4 things that I say: awareness, growth, healing, and change. Because I want people to remember and be reminded that that's what we're about. That's what Raw Motivation is about. And that's why we're on these channels, to try to provide that awareness of what's going on with narcissism, and then healing, growth, and change on a day-to-day basis. What are the change behaviors of a victim of narc abuse? What are the change behaviors? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Like anxiety, stress, frustration. Like, I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for there. Get emails all the time. The worst part, wanting so bad to no contact and it can't. Yeah, no, stay no contact. Vicky, what's up? Good to see you. Why does an narc constantly send emails every day to irritate if he has a girlfriend? Because it irritates you. Like, literally, it's like the idea of like picture, I mean, it's not dog whistling, but like picture the idea of like a kid being like, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. And then you finally like react. That's what the narcissist is trying to do. It's that slow drip of like, wait a second, if I keep pushing your buttons, if I keep pushing your buttons, if I keep pushing your buttons, you're eventually going to tell me to stop. When you tell me to stop, that means I won because I made you react. I made you react. Crap. There's two things, and my phone is being used, so I can't look to see what it is. Crap. There's two things with emails. Reach out. I need to find a place and put it on my bio. I actually need to do that. I'll see about trying to get it on my bio sometime this week. We're probably actually going to get it inside the NARC app, along with like a list of like a block list and a couple other things that need to go on there. But we're going to try to get some stuff on there. But there actually is 2 email blockers. One that's free that has worked for like, from what I've seen, like 80% of the people that I've talked to. And then another one that is like a yearly thing. And that's worked even more for some other people that the free one didn't work for, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff in there. Hello. Stan Coaching. Are you slipping in here on Instagram? So if you guys don't follow on Instagram, we got Stan Coaching. She's also on TikTok and YouTube. So give her some love over there. She's the daughter of a narcissist. So her dad was a narcissist. And then in the chat, we've got Abuse is Abuse. Her mom was a narcissist as well. So if you guys don't follow them already, they're also Narc Avengers and they do coaching. So if you guys don't have a chance to be able to follow them. Okay. Anyways, why does he call after a week, call me hun, but then when I ask him why, he gets mad and wants to hang up on me? Legit just happens. Why does he call after a week? I missed the call me hun. So like a lot of times they'll reach out, and then when you reach out to them, you're the inconvenience. Like you're the one that's like frustrating them of like, wait a second, like I didn't call you. Like, what's the heck? Like, why are you bothering me? They switch it around like really fast. And a lot of times that's power and control, but it's also like push-pull. Let me pull you really close and let me like push you away. Sometimes it's to be able to see how you're going to react, see how you're going to respond. But that's also part of what builds up the trauma bond, that push-pull, like back and forth. Half of my mind says he's not that bad because he's doing something nice. The other half is like, oh shit, he's bad. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's crazy. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what they build up of like, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to push your buttons in a lot of different ways. Excuse me. And then they're going to do something nice. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, they're actually a nice person. You know, just because they took out the trash once doesn't make them a nice person when they come back and they still keep abusing you. So you have to be really careful of that. He called me the narcissist and then blocked me. Actually just did a video on that too. Actually, that's kind of crazy as far as like the narcissist blocking another person, because it happens. And a lot of times a narcissist will leverage that because then they have control. They had the last word. They were able to leave, block you, and then they can come back in whenever they want. Okay. So it gets really crazy. Hate the trauma bonds. Absolutely. The trauma bonds are the worst because the trauma bond is built on cognitive dissonance, hope, and potential. And unless you rewire your mindset, you're not able to get out of them. Not that I've seen. Mine was a Christian. He was the Holy Spiritual flow back through him when trying to come back. Yeah, no. I'm glad you put the quotation marks because definitely an abuser is not along those lines on the Christian aspect. Church and Instagram, hello. I see you. Absolutely love your videos. You've educated me very much. I've finally gotten the point. I no longer let them get me angry. That's awesome. I finally have found the strength to stand up for myself. That is awesome. Jess, that is really awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm aware of the narcissistic abuse I've endured, but I'm also wondering, if I am also a narc. So typically, you know, you don't have two narcissists together, you know, but I mean, that can happen. If you ever think that you are a narcissist, start to evaluate, like, what are the toxic traits that I have in my life? What are the things that I'm seeing? Were those there all of my life? Or did those come out of just this relationship? You know, did the past relationships say I was doing this or say this was happening? Or is this like a new thing that kind of transpired? So definitely something to look into of trying to say, okay, what do I need to work on to continue my healing, growth, and change, to develop myself to be happy, healthy, and whole? Okay. Why does he spell my name wrong when he knows how to spell it? He used to mention it. He would pretend he didn't know. Trigger. It's a trigger. And get you to react. I am early. No, you're late, Brittany. You are so late. No, absolutely not. I started at 8:30. I'm trying to start bumping it up on Thursday nights. I just haven't like announced it everywhere. And honestly, it's just so I can get to bed earlier because early mornings pop up. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get closer to like 8:30. Maybe I'll get close to like, maybe I'll get to the place where I do like 8 to 10. But it's that a lot of times like questions aren't like super crazy. So like 8:30 to 10 is where we're kind of hanging out a little bit. Not cool. No, I mean, can't really help it. I gotta sleep sometime, you know. Everybody yells at me when they hear I only get like 4.5 hours of sleep. So trying every once in a while to get 6. You know, I feel someone said it's healthy or something like that. Why is my ex keeping cards I gave him and pictures of us around his house? His new boyfriend has to see all that. Interesting. I don't know why I do that as far as like the other person seeing that, like, except for the fact of triangulation of, look, here's my ex. Of, oh, look at this. It's a way to be able to triangulate the other person. Why is the silent treatment the punishment? The punishment, yeah, the silent treatment is the punishment. The reason why is because they want you to apologize for their behavior. Okay, like that's the purpose of the silent treatment, is to make you feel crazy, to make you kind of doubt yourself, and then to get you to the place where you start apologizing and coming back and saying like, hey, I'm sorry, I did something wrong, when you didn't. Okay, that's just them messing with you. Do they ever just not understand what they're putting you through? So it's like two things. They don't understand the depth of what they're putting you through, but they do see the pain that you're going through and they don't care. Okay. I stayed because I couldn't give him that satisfaction. I made him do it. I think I missed something there. But yeah, I enjoy the silent treatment these days better than yelling and threats. Yeah, I mean, if you can like separate from it, then you can get a couple things done. Yeah. So someone else said that they were calling the wrong name on purpose. My narc just served me papers for visitation rights, and he does nothing for him. No support, and no money. Any advice? Oh, first thing first, I would say you're on Instagram. So I think it's under Anthony Bompiani. I actually just shared something. It might still be on my story, but follow him. Or if you're on TikTok, Judge Anthony. But he's got fantastic advice of anything like court related. Like a lot of times, any like court questions, I like try to have people go look at his page because he's fantastic in a lot of that kind of stuff. Okay. Why can't I block him and keep him blocked? It's like I need to keep hearing from him. You do. You need to keep hearing from him because you're addicted. Okay, because you're addicted to that toxicity. You're addicted to that toxic relationship. And ultimately, there's something going through your head that's keeping you trauma bonded. Whether that's hope, whether that's potential, or whether that's you sitting in the moment and being like, I don't know what to do because I'm dealing with cognitive dissonance. I don't know which I'm supposed to do. Do I believe his words? Do I believe his actions? And you'll find the easiest one, and you'll go back to it every single time. And until you actually change your story, change the mindset, you're going to keep going back time after time after time until you rewire your mindset. That hope will keep triggering you to go back. And the thing is, until you stop that, not just stop it, until you replace it, okay, with the truth, you're always going to go back. Okay. Why do they pay or have consequence? When do they pay or have consequences for hurting me? Honestly, when it comes down to it, the biggest thing you can affect and change is you. So many people get worried about karma for the narcissist, and you can go down the route of like, hey, their own karma is being themselves and never being happy. Like, that's great. You can go down the aspect of like, you know, hey, they're going to get what's owed to them eventually because they're going to die alone. Like, that's great too. But, you know, hey, what's going to hurt them as well is like you living your best life. But so many times you waste so much of your time focusing on them after the fact. Now, I'm not minimizing the hurt, the pain, the abuse, and the crazy making that you experience. Okay. So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when you focus so much on wanting to hurt them or wanting them to get their karma, you lose time developing you. And you lose time showing up for your kids, for your family, for the people that are around you on a day-to-day basis. And what's happening is the narcissist is taking up real estate in your life, real estate in your mind, in your heart. And that real estate is meant for your development and for you to grow and for you to invest in other people, not them. Don't let them live for free in your life anymore. I think I saw Rowan here, Roller Coaster of Love. I think she jumped in on TikTok. If you guys aren't following her, definitely check her out, Roller Coaster of Love. Make sure to check her out. She did an amazing course. She does some amazing ads for the course too. But she did an amazing course on the NARC app, and it's called Healthy Dating After Abuse. So if you're struggling, trying to figure out, wait a second, like, do I get back out there? Is it time? Am I ready? Like, what do I look for? All those kind of things. Check that out. Bro, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. She's the one that shared the link with me. So I was like, oh, cool. I don't know how to do this, but there it is. So we're super excited. Where we are. What kind of a narcissist are you? So I would identify more covert. In the workplace, I would definitely say I was more on the overt side, like definitely overt. But privately, like regular, like people, life, all that kind of stuff, covert. Okay. You can actually sign up under my website, either rawmotivations.com, or you can click any of the links in the bios to be able to schedule a one-on-one. The link in the bio also has the information for September 24th, the workshop with myself and Lee Hammock. It's going to be a 4-hour event where it's a workshop of recovering after narcissistic abuse. I'm glad you asked. What's AGHG? It's C. It's C. Sorry, you got me confused. AGHC. So actually what it is, it's what Raw Motivation stands for when it comes to narcissistic abuse, okay? AGHC stands for awareness, growth, healing, and change. Because I want more people to see that and understand that. Awareness, growth, healing, and change. The app is called the NARC app, NARC. Just type in NARC into, what are we talking about? Apple or Google Play. It stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. We got lots of acronyms. I was going to put NARC into like the sub, but I figured like that might look weird of people being like, wait, like this person's NARC or this person's NARC. So I did the AGHC. I don't know. I couldn't think of like 4 everything else I wanted was like 5 or 6 letters, but you know. Anyways, we digress. Does it bother them when you go no contact, even when they're giving you a silent treatment? In that exact moment, no. When they try to hoover you, yes, because you cut off supply. So go no contact, ghost, make sure you don't come back. Yeah, you don't want a narc badge. Okay, good. Then I was already reading your mind, took care of it that way, so we don't have to worry about it. So we're good. Can you give me an example of how a narc would turn the victim against their loving parents? Divide and conquer. So like with something with the parents is trying to figure out like, hey, what can I do to plant a seed to breed like dissension? How can I divide them apart? Maybe they have to divide them, you know, from the mom and from the dad. Okay. So like maybe they have to divide them too. And then once they're divided, then we can work on like slowly putting little things, because a narcissist doesn't isolate you typically by saying, hey, don't go over there. Like, don't do this. Don't do this. They normally don't just isolate just like that. It's very subtle, right? Especially like covert narcissists. It's very subtle in how they're actually isolating you. Like, I can't believe you want to go spend time with your family. Like, you spend time with them all the time. Like, I'm here. Why won't you spend time with me? Like, I thought you loved me. Like, I thought we were going to spend time together. Like, don't you care about me? But like, you obviously care about your family more than you care about me. Like, they'll play the victim. They'll switch it around. They'll focus it on themselves. Okay. So like, that's one example. Another example is just pitting them against each other, like triangulation of like saying like this person said this thing against another person, like all that kind of stuff that happens a ton in those family aspects. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. There's a bunch of them. Am I in therapy? Yes, I'm in therapy. Been in therapy 18 months regular. 6 months before that was EMDR. So now we're approaching like 2 years total of therapy. Go every single week. So that's the little dig I give to Lee every once in a while, which is like really hilarious because like he's been in therapy for like 4 years, but technically I've been to more sessions because his were like once a month. I think he's doing like every other week now, but mine's every week and wouldn't miss it because I need it. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, no, once a week. It's been once a week for 18 months. And I would say probably out of all of it, even with going out of town, I think we still like did some like Zoom and stuff like that. But even out of like the 18 months, I want to say maybe like 3 times, maybe 4 kind of a thing that I actually like missed, whether she had to cancel or like a holiday or something like that. And it just didn't work out for us to like reschedule and whatever. And like, I missed them. I was like, like, especially early on, like it was like crazy. And I was like, yeah, no, I have to, like, it just solidified in my mind. I was like, I have to go. Like, this has to be something that's there. Raised his son for 6 years. He's 20 today and has no mom. He wants contact. I am no contact to his dad. Any advice? He is 20 today and has no mom. He wants raised his son. I'm confused who's who in that equation. I'm so sorry. As far as like if it's the son and the son's older and he wants, I guess the son wants contact with the dad, like maybe you could give like that information and all, but like I would still make sure like whatever you do, you stay out of it. Like if you're no contact, stay no contact no matter what. Okay. How can I break the narcissistic cycle from coming back after going no contact? Great question. First thing is acknowledge the truth. Because typically when you're going back, you're thinking of a fantasy or you're thinking of the good times in the relationship, and it makes you go back. Couples therapy with a narc works well when the narc isn't there. 100%, because couples therapy is crap with a narcissist. Like, it's not just my word for it. Not only did I do couples therapy early on and used it to my advantage, but also I've talked to so many different people that have been in there and have been like, yeah, it was crazy. Like, they got up, they walked out, like, it was awful. They blamed me, like, everything. Okay. A flying monkey is abuse by proxy. It's where the narcissist finds someone else to be able to ascribe to their false reality that ends up abusing you or reporting back to them. Not my bio son, narc son is reaching out to me. I raised him. Gotcha. Okay. So if that son doesn't have contact with the dad, or if there's not like a bond there as far as like he's going to be reporting back, then I would say it'd be okay. But if like you haven't had contact for like many years and you're pretty sure he's on like that side, it's probably not a good idea, unfortunately. My husband triangulates his mom and myself by allowing her to be passive aggressive, put me down in front of him, and doesn't stick up for me. Yeah, that's a great way to answer the other question. Yeah, that's a good one. He's encouraging her daughter to lie by omission. Then when the truth comes out, he turns around and everything was her idea. Whew. Any thoughts on how to guide her through having a toxic dad? If you're together, that's definitely going to be hard. But it definitely has to have some like frank and open conversations like with your daughter. If you're separate, that gives you a little bit more leverage to say like, hey, like I'm going to be able to interact with this person and be able to help her the best I can, just to be honest. To be honest of like, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Let me tell you, like, this is what's right. This is what's wrong, and help her deal with her feelings. Okay. No, he was also a victim of the narc's abuse. Okay. So he was a victim of the narc's abuse. Then yeah, I would say that should be totally fine to be able to reach out. How do you know when the trauma bond is over? When you're not thinking about the narcissist and when you're not triggered by the narcissist. Thinking might be a little too extreme. When you're not triggered, when you're able to look at life and not go back to the person and not go to the place of like, hey, I wish that they were still in my life, or I still want to interact with them, anything like that. Chris, what's up? I don't know if I said hi. I just saw you up there. Getting divorced. Okay. So Deborah, if you're getting divorced, look up Judge Anthony or Anthony Bompiani. Look up parallel parenting, and also look up using the BIFF method. BIFF, brief, informative, friendly, firm. We'll get it down. But yeah, look that up. Dulce Serenos. I probably like really botched that, but I'm sorry. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Where are we at? I'm trying to catch up here. When they hoover, devalue, then discard, do they hurt you on purpose? Yes, 100%. What does it mean when my ex tells me he has a lot of demons, and we can't be together? That's a cop-out, and he probably has someone already lined up. How do you work with a narcissistic co-parent? You do parallel parenting. There is no co-parenting with a toxic person. Complete no contact isn't possible. It is possible. You can go through a third party apps. It's not easy, which is why a lot of people say it's not possible and why most people don't do it, but it is possible. There's something that someone can do while co-parenting with a narcissist male. So yeah, a lot of times, so there's a couple people that are in some of these chats that are no contact with kids. It's super hard. It's not easy. It can be a bitch to bear with the co-parenting, with the court agreements, all that kind of stuff. It's not easy, okay? But it is possible, and there's a lot of people doing it. If you're not at that place, reducing your contact, going through a third-party app, communicating only through email, look up parallel parenting, put everything through the BIFF method so that you make sure how you're communicating is effective and not extra like triggering or anything like that. No, we're just trying to handle them. There's a lot more questions. We haven't been firing with all these questions so much. Why are narcissist behaviors so similar across races and cultures? Because it's based on the same stuff. The shame avoidance. It's like, how can I avoid shame? And I'll do anything I can do to avoid shame, even if that means hurting you. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it does to you. It just matters what it does to me. I'm doing well. California, hopefully we'll be there sometime next year. It's not going to happen this year. Right now, September 24th, link in bio. You can actually meet with myself and Lee. It's not a meet and greet. It's a workshop. So if you guys sign up, come prepared to learn, grow, heal, and change, because we're super excited about that. October 15th in Austin, Texas. That's the next one coming up. Bro, can you Ro, can you throw in the date for the Ontario one or the Toronto one or whatever, Canada one? I don't know when the date is. But October 15th, Austin, Texas. That one is going to be really awesome because that one, they're going to be live one-on-ones. There's going to be exclusive question and answer, and there's going to be a meet and greet where where we all talk as well. That's like 10 people out of that one. But yeah, and then there's also one in November coming up for Canada. There we go, Toronto, November 19th. So if you're in Canada, that's coming up November 19th. So it's September, October, November, month off on December, so we can recharge, figure out what the heck we're doing because there's so freaking much going on. It's insane. I love it. There's so much going on. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming next year. So just on my platform, like I've got way too many things going, but I'm like super excited. So right now we've got a journal that's in the proof and the works, and hopefully will be published by the end of the month. We've got a book that's slowly being written, but we're kind of shelving that for a moment. A course that's going to be started and created here within the next 3 months, and that'll be done and back up and ready to go, and a couple other things. So anyways, sorry, there's like a ton of stuff. Okay, fine. I'll shout out the Narc app. So if you guys don't follow, there's Bringing Brittany back. There we go. I didn't even try that time. Bringing Brittany back. She's on TikTok. Feel free to give her a follow as well. So she has a narcissistic. I was gonna say a motheristic narcissistic law. Wow, we're really struggling right now. She has a narcissistic mother-in-law. I'm done. I'm just done. Okay. Anyways, so feel with that. Did I struggle with substance abuse? No, I don't, because I know my personality, even know my personality, like even back then, that if I started, I probably wouldn't stop. So I stay away from substance abuse, majorly. There we go. Where are we at? Sorry, guys. What about my book? It's coming eventually. I'm pausing it. I'm pausing it because right now the journal takes the precedence because that's supposed to be released by the end of the month. And then the course is going to be live definitely by end of December max. But it's probably going to be done before then. So the course is actually going to be diving into some of the stuff that I work with people like one-on-one, actually like going in depth of like rewiring your mindset and having you like walk through. Right now I'm planning a 6-week course that we're going to put together, and it's going to be like a daily thing that you log on. You have to complete like stuff, do homework for the next day, record stuff, all that kind of stuff. So we're super excited. It's going to be intense. It's going to be an intense course. So I like being intense. So it's going to be an intense course. I'm super excited. All right, where are we at? Let's go. Let's roll. All right, what does it mean when the narc says he can't be with you because he has a lot of demons to fight? I think I already answered this question. So typically it's a cop-out, it's probably just trying to look to, find an excuse. It's the same reason why a lot of times they'll be like, oh, like you're so much stronger than me, or you don't deserve me, or like, I'm so awful, or I'm so toxic. So like, I want to save you that by not being with you. Like, it's true. They got a lot of demons to work out. And unless they're actually going to fight those demons and actually work through it, then they don't care about themselves. They don't care about you, and let them go. Any merch? Look for that next year. I'm gonna have it all set up, but we're gonna set it up before we actually like get to it. But it'll be next year. Has it wrong to discuss bad behaviors of the narcissist parent with your child? No, it is not wrong. 2 things you have to make sure: age-appropriate honesty with your child, but make sure it's honest. Do not lie to your kids. Do not try to hide or minimize the abuse that's happening, because what'll happen? Okay, what'll happen is they'll grow up and then they'll start to realize, wait a second, that you just hid that. And as a result, like it'll end up alienating you. So 1, be honest with your kids. Okay, age appropriate honesty. Okay, so make sure they understand what's going on. You don't have to tell like your 2-year-old, hey, like your dad just cheated. Okay, but like you have to make sure that you're being honest with them and telling them right from wrong. Okay. But then the other thing is you just have to make sure not to bash the other person, but you can still say truth. You can still say the facts. And then you need to be there for your kids to be able to open up and say, how does that make you feel? Like, let's process those emotions. Manicure, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad it's been helping. Why they complain about the new supply? That's triangulation. So if they're complaining to you or to someone else, they're just leveraging one person against the other. My narc blames everything on me and takes no responsibility, claims they were perfect in the relationship. Yep. Narcissists will do that. So they don't have to feel those emotions or feelings, and they don't have to admit that was going on. What were your coping mechanisms for guilt and shame? Boxing it up, hiding it, moving on, focusing on the next thing, focusing on the next person. Grass is green on the other side, and not focusing on my guilt and shame because I couldn't sit with that. What about narc projecting and making you out to be the narc? Happens all the time. A lot of times they want to put that on you. You know, they'll tell you that you're the one cheating when they're the one cheating. They'll tell you that you're the one like lying when they're the one lying, that you're the one that's upset, you know, when they're the one that's upset. A lot of things like that. Are people, we can't talk tonight. Come on, let's go. Are people with NPD born with NPD, or can it develop at any age in life? So could it develop 10 years into a relationship? So the answer to that would be no. So it doesn't develop like later on in life. It actually develops like early on. So originally it'll kick off like 6 to 18 months. And a lot of times that connects with how they interact with the primary caregiver. Are they connected? Are they disconnected? And then as life goes on, depending on how much of the gray matter was foreign, like all that kind of stuff, like early on, how that stuff continues going on, will start to evolve into those narcissistic traits that don't get fixed or don't get changed or don't get developed early on by either the parents or by either, you know, family members or people around that actually can help them understand how to process shame, how to process guilt, how to deal with their emotions, things like that. And as a result, it continues on. Sometimes they might hide it. Sometimes they might, you know, kind of push it to the side, kind of bury it a little bit, but they'll still have it. So they're not going to have NPD like later on in life. It's not going to just magically like appear or happen. It might be exposed or the mask might slip, but it's not going to manufacture itself at that point. Hopefully that makes sense. Are narcs known to be reckless and careless in their behaviors in all areas of their life? Not necessarily. They're not always reckless in all areas of life, but it does happen a lot. So that part I would say is common. Okay. Narcissistic people are severely disabled in many ways. They're abnormal toddlers and faulty predict. Yeah, very much like amoral toddlers. Sorry. Yeah, very much. They're very much like toddlers for sure. Narc won't block me, discards me, reads messages, but silent treatment. Okay, they're not doing that because they're still controlling you. Take back your power, pick up your phone, block them. Okay? You shouldn't, there should be no one on here that should expect their narcissist to block you. For you. That's not their responsibility, for one. And for two, think about it this way. In the relationship, how did the narcissist respect you? Wait, they didn't? No, because they're narcissists. They didn't respect you. What makes you think they're going to respect you now? Pick up the phone, block the narcissist, take back your power, focus on what you can control, which is your own life, which is your own heart, which is your own growth, and make sure to block them so that they can't come back into your life. Okay? What about he can't give you up and it's tiring now? It's my story, but I know I'm tired. What about he can't give you up? Is he blocked, no contact? Like that's like first step. You know, then if he's stalking, then it's like restraining order. Like if there's other stuff, then sometimes it's moving. Like there's a lot of different things that go into that. Why is narcissist shame different to normal people's feelings of shame? Because of how they're processing it. What a narcissist is putting on that feeling of shame is that they are the bad person and they can't live with that. They can't acknowledge that they've done something bad because that means that they are bad. That doesn't match up with the mask that they're projecting. A lot of times normal people have been able to work through those, whether that's through education, whether that's through religion, whether that's through parents, different things like that. The narcissist typically hasn't had that, either by abuse, by trauma, by over-controlling parents, by over-enabling parents, like anything like that. So as a result, they had to figure it out on their own. And most of the time they didn't figure it out correctly. It's so difficult to forget the narc. What can I do? Honestly, first thing I'd love for you to do is like reach out and I would love to talk to you, because forgetting the narc typically means that there's still a trigger that's popping off. Maybe that's where you go. Maybe that's sights. Maybe that's smells. Maybe that's a place, a person, like interactions, a song, whatever it is. There's a trigger that's popping up that's making you go back to that person or reminding you of that. And what I talk to people about is a lot of times like cognitive therapy of how to rewire your mindset. That's getting back to the truth. That's understanding what actually happened. And then that's replacing like the thoughts that are there so that you don't go back to a fantasy, but you understand the reality, which starts to separate that fog and starts to get away from the aspect of like, I don't even want this person in my life. I don't even want to go back. Are narcissists miserable or happy? They're miserable. The book The Narcissist in Your Life describes a narc as an adult toddler armed with a nail gun. Yeah, that's very true. That's a very good book. Y'all are popping with a lot of stuff. It's really good. Why can't he say it's over? When I tell him it's over, he just says, I don't care, so whatever. He's not going to say it's over because he's still controlling you. Like that's what it is he's still controlling you. You need help with no contact. Reach out. Would love to be able to talk to you and help with that. One, to get you no contact, but then two, to break the trauma bond so you don't go back. Because you have to block and not go back. But you can't just do that just by blocking a lot of times. Because a lot of times people will override their senses and what they know to be true. And they'll end up going back because of the story that they're telling themselves. Okay? What happens when after their rage and discard, do they regret discarding you? No. They regret at times controlling you, but they don't really regret discarding you because they're typically on to another person by that point. No contact works. Absolutely. Look at you, Vicky, jumping in all the chats. No contact does work. It's huge. It's remarkable how attractive everyone is on these lives and how indicative this is of high value / high quality people who fall prey to narcissists and toxic people. Interesting. Why would they regret controlling you? Controlling you is power. You know, when a narcissist is able to control you, control what you're doing, and control ultimately the mask that they're putting up. So, like, if I have a false persona, so if I want to be like, hey, this is me, okay, like this is who I am, and then I'm able to leverage you to believe it, and then I'm able to leverage you to defend it to our friends and family, and then I'm able to control you by saying like, hey, this is my mask, and you're like, oh yeah, that's his mask. That's a giant level of control. And so when a narcissist loses control over you, that's what hurts the most for a narcissist because they lose that power that they had over you. Okay? I feel like mine love bombs my son and he's under his spell at times. Yeah, absolutely. He's 11. Yeah. No, absolutely. I actually just did a video on TikTok about this. It'll probably be on Instagram, but it might be on Instagram or it might be tomorrow. But I just did a TikTok video on this and it like started blowing up and I was like, what the heck? And it was like me actually talking about like a lot of times a narcissist will be disengaged from like 0 to 4 and then 4 to 11, you know, sometimes a little bit more, 4 to 9, 4 to 11. You know, that's when they're engaged because they're the Disneyland dad, they're the awesome parent. Sorry, I just felt like something ran by, but it's just the dog. Like an awesome parent, like all this kind of stuff. And then when they get older, that's when they start treating him just like the other parent, the other spouse. It's like they just discard. They just kind of like walk away. It's actually kind of sad, pathetic, hilarious that they move on to the next person. They just can't get it together. Yeah. He won't reach out, but every few months he puts in the wrong password to lock you out. Yeah. No, I mean, they do that. Just be able to mess with you because the main goal is like that you'll reach out. Can they ever change? Not willing, being honest, vulnerable, or go to therapy. And then even then you have to be honest, vulnerable, and see consistent change. Can a narc be bad to you, but good in all other romantic relationships they've had? Who's telling you that they were good in all the other relationships? Because if you've been the narc, well, you know, that's what you're believing. Okay. But a lot of times you also have to realize they're going to change the mask. So good for you might be different for someone else. It was just posted. Okay, sweet. Awesome. How do I go no contact and block when we are neighbors? We have all the same friends and we are very tied to the community. We literally run into each other several times a day. I'm going to run empty on this one. It's been a long time actually since I've talked to anybody who had like narcissistic neighbor. I know like one that was like, it was all about like property line and like trees and they were having to like go through the court system. It was like crazy. But yeah, sorry, I don't really have a good answer for you right now. That was a good question. If they're happy, no consequences for their hurt. They are monsters. My God, everyone else hurts but them. Why? It's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. Okay. It's not fair at all that they're able to do what they do and the majority of the time like seem to walk away with no consequences. Okay. But the thing is they're also slaves. A lot of times people don't talk about this and people don't want to hear this a lot of times, but a narcissist is a slave to their own addictions, their own compulsions, and their own impulses. And the difference between you and a narcissist is the fact that you can actually acknowledge where you are in life and you can actually work to heal, grow, and change. They can't. So as a result, they're doomed to like the aspect of like getting $1 million and like stuffing it down the toilet because they don't know the opportunity that's been given to them to actually change, learn, heal, and grow. But you do. You have that opportunity. But so many times you're given the same $1 million and you spend half of it wasting it on the narcissist or wasting it on frustration or anger versus investing it into you, your growth, your healing and development. Is it fair? No, not at all. But what can you control? You can control how you grow, how you change, and how you show up every day to help the people around you. A lot of times people talk about winning and losing with a narcissist, right? Like they talk about, wait, like the narcissist won, I lost. And it comes back to that mindset of how you're thinking about winning and losing. Maybe that's them getting karma. Maybe that's them being just held accountable. Maybe that's justice. Maybe it's whatever. When it comes down to it, a lot of times when you're looking at life, even with a narcissist, without a narcissist, if you're looking at life thinking winning and losing, there's always going to be a letdown. But when you're able to shift your mindset and start focusing on something bigger than that, something more long reaching, more farther reaching than just winning and losing, and you start showing up every day for yourself, for your family, for your kids, for your friends, for your job, and you start to show up every day, and then it becomes about service. How can I help other people? How can I help myself heal, grow, and change? How can I help other people? And here's the crux of it. When you start building a life that's built around service and helping other people, there is no winning and losing. There's only winning. Because if your whole purpose is being out there to help other people grow, heal, change, develop, whatever label you want to put on it. But if your goal out there is to help serve and help other people, you're not going to lose. But that mindset has to shift. So often we get tied in the aspect of their karma, of them paying, and of all this kind of stuff. Should they? Do they need to? Yes, absolutely. I'm not minimizing that at all. I'm just saying, don't let them take up so much time in your life that you forget to take time for you. How do you decide whether to trust and try with the narc or let it all go and move on? How many times have you let them try? Okay. Because when it comes down to it, like you're going to be future faked constantly and they're going to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and nothing's going to change. So where are you going to see that vulnerability, that honesty, that consistent change? Okay. Yes. Best thing I've heard you ever say. Awesome. Well, there's more stuff coming. There's just a lot of stuff in the back in the works. I was intensely love bomb. I accepted it. I never get that from the narc again. No, you won't get that from the narc again. It's on purpose because you never should have got it in the first place because the majority of it was fake. And they just did it to be able to trap you and to be able to hold you. Okay. Also had to have a close approval. Yeah, no, absolutely. Narcissist has to make sure that you're acceptable to go out in public by what you wear. You're not too, sexy for other people out there. They have to make sure that they're in control over you. Okay. Absolutely. What holds me back is the narcissist will be everything I want to the other person. I'm still stuck 10 years. Narcissists won't be everything you want to the other person. Okay. And if they are, there's two things with it. One, they're still narcissists. They're not going to change. And so they're just going to go to the next person. They're going to abuse them. Sometimes when you look at it, one, you shouldn't be looking because you've no contact. But sometimes when you look at it, what you see is you see all the things that you wanted being fulfilled in the next relationship. One, that's love bombing. Two, it's building a new mask. Three, it's meant to trigger you. It's meant to get to you. It's a production for you to mess with your mind. Okay. And then fourth, a lot of times what they're doing in the next relationship is just because they didn't think of anything else new. It was the easiest thing to come up with because they knew it was what they were keeping from you, which one tells you that, hey, this person purposely did this to me. So it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't, oh my gosh, like they changed and got better. No, they purposely were malicious against you and kept something back from you. And oftentimes when they go to the next person, the dream that you wanted is not the dream that the next person wanted. So as a result, they're still triangulating and they're still abusing. It just looks completely different. Okay. I've accepted that when I think he's thinking about me, he's not. Yeah, he's not thinking about you. Do narcs ever know another person is a narc when first meeting? I would say yes. Maybe self-aware, maybe a little bit more. I definitely pick up vibes. That's for sure. What's the story you're telling yourself that keeps you stuck? Yes, absolutely. NARCAP has been has been life-changing for me. I'm reading backwards today, I guess. A narcissist seeks spectator people who lack self-love. If we were meek, we could not survive them. A narcissist seeks people that don't have a sense of identity, or they have like parenting issues, or they just don't have any boundaries. Have you dated another narcissistic person? I've dated a person with BPD and narcissistic traits. It was amazing, and then it was hell. Do they all cheat even though they say they haven't moved on? Yes. I remember being in a function with his family. One of his sisters said something mean to me. He ignored it. I asked him if he was going to take up for me, his wife, or not. He said he didn't want to. Yeah, a lot of times they won't stick up for you. That's another form of like triangulation, another form of just like manipulation to separate you. Hence why BPD people love them narcissists. Yeah, I mean, because a lot of times you get, think of it this way, like a narcissist getting with a BPD person, like if they get into the right rhythm, there's like a synergy there. It's almost like a consistency of it's always going around and around and around, because the narcissist has shame and they're pushing the other person away, which makes the BPD try even harder because they're worried about abandonment. And so if you get those aligned just right, like it just keeps going. Absolutely. I'm glad that it's helping, Jess. I'm glad it's helping. Do I do therapy sessions? So I'm not a therapist, but I do coach people. So I work privately with people to coach them over Zoom. And so we do that. You can go to rawmotivations.com. You can download the NARC app, NARC, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. There's got information on there. A lot of stuff you can book inside there as well. If you sign up as a premium supporter, then like coaching sessions or packages that I offer are 15% off. So there's a couple things there, but I do meet with people on a day-to-day basis with one-on-ones. A lot of times Monday through Saturday, I start my morning at like 5 a.m. So I meet with people. That's the earliest appointment I have is like 5 a.m. in the morning, typically all the way till like 3 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, so I do meet with people every single day, all across the globe. So if you go into rawmotivations.com, it like adjusts it automatically to be in your time zone. So if you're ever like logging on being like, I wonder if he actually has time, if you see it on there, it means that I have a session open. Okay. I get mad at my boyfriend for doing stuff without me. I have a fear of abandonment. I was diagnosed with BPD. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad that if you're diagnosed with it, then that means hopefully that you're in therapy and you're working on getting help from it, because like you have the best chance with BPD than with NPD to get help and to like work through that. And just acknowledging it is like one of the biggest parts of the battle. How long since you decided you wanted to get help? I've been in therapy now for a total of 2 years, 6 months with EMDR, and 18 months and counting with, I guess, like traditional therapy. It's not really traditional. My therapist is crazy, but it works. It's great. But that's every single week that I go. Did you love your wife when you were a narc? So I'm still a narc, self-aware now, but like when I was in the relationship, was I showing love? No, not at all. Was I demonstrating love? No, not at all. Like it was just, what did I get out of it? Why can't I throw away photos and gifts? Should I give them back to the narc? No, you shouldn't give them back to the narc. That's a form of contact. Stay no contact. How can I move on from my narcissist relationship if I was diagnosed with BPD? So your diagnosis doesn't have anything to do with you moving on or not. Okay, what has to do with you moving on or not is the story that you're telling yourself. Okay, because ultimately there's a trigger that happens that activates your emotions, that activates your feelings, that activates a story that you're telling yourself that's pulling you back to that person. And until you get to the place where you start acknowledging truth and understanding that, differentiating and breaking free from the fog that has been put on you by the narcissist, then you'll still go back. And if you want to talk more about that, would love to have you reach out. So just reach out to me, rawmotivations.com. Okay. What had me come to admit to it is it's a bunch of things, really. One of the best ways to be able to like listen to like my whole story in one sense would be to go onto YouTube and look up under my channel, Raw Motivations, look up self-aware narcissists. It kind of goes more in depth with that. Do you think narcissists have thoughts of murder? If they're sociopathic, yes. Otherwise, maybe. Is it common for a narc to have ADHD? I would say it's common for a narcissist to get misdiagnosed as ADHD. I've seen a lot of that. I even saw like someone say, like, if you weren't diagnosed with ADHD, you'd be a full-blown narcissist. They're a full-blown narcissist. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm learning that you're trauma bonded from before. Hey, if you're trauma bonded, would love to be able to would love to be able to talk to you and try to help you understand. So like think of it this way. Okay, trauma bond. All right, real quick. Here's everything kind of like in a nutshell. Okay, trauma bond is based on hope, potential, cognitive dissonance, holding two opposing thoughts into your head. Okay. As a result, you're always going to go back to the person. The trauma bond is like, wait a second, I know this person's toxic, but I still want to reach out. I still want to see them. I still want to hug them, kiss them, be with them, whatever it might be. I still want to talk to them. And so it makes you reach out because you're addicted. You've developed an addictive relationship with another person. And a lot of times that's been manufactured and you've been groomed to feel that way because of them taking away the pedestal, because of the push-pull, whole lot of other things that goes into that. Okay. But with the trauma bond, the first step is acknowledging the truth. The first step is understanding the relationship that you've been in and what's actually going on there. Once you can acknowledge this is the truth, then you have to start finding and figuring out the triggers. Once you see the triggers, then you can start diving underneath the surface. Your trigger activates an emotion, which your feelings ascribe a longer set of emotions to it, a longer feeling to it, which ultimately gives you a story that you're believing. Think of it as almost like the subliminal programming that's happening underneath your mindset that's going every single time when that narcissist reaches out and triggers, it makes it happen. You're like, oh, I need to go back to this person. And so you go back every single time. And until you take that trigger, break it down and actually change it around. Like I use the words like rewire because it's literally what we're doing is we're taking a thought, we're replacing it with the truth. We're not placing it with falsehood. We're not telling you a false story. We're saying, hey, what's the truth? What's the demonstration? We're taking that false thought that's built on fantasy and fiction and replacing it with reality. And that's what clears out the fog. And as it clears out the fog, that's what breaks you free from the trauma bond. Sorry, that's like a lot all in one, but like that's what I work with people on like a day-to-day basis, helping walk them through that process to be able to rewire their mindset so they can get free. And a lot of times what we see is the triggers we work with on a day-to-day basis, they get greatly reduced or sometimes completely eradicated because it is possible to be able to work through that. Okay. Hopefully that helps. If you want to if you want to reach out, definitely go to rawmotivations.com. You can click the link in any of my bios and grab one-on-ones there. A lot of times I do one-on-ones and I also do like coaching as well. So I would love to be able to help you out however I can with that. Okay. And just a side note, okay. Just a side note for everybody who like thinks I'm just like selling something. Like, I don't really care if you think I'm selling something. If you don't want to work with me because I'm a narcissist, like totally fine. Type in hashtag narc avengers and find like one of the other like 16 narc avengers that are coaches, survivors, and therapists that are willing to work with you. So like, I don't really care. I know I can help you with this because I've been helping people with this and I've been working with people. Okay. But if I don't fit the bill or if I trigger you or like anything like that, find someone else. But the biggest thing is if you're trauma bonded, get a therapist, get a coach, find a support system, find that help to help you work on that. Okay. Yeah. Trauma bonds are really hard to break. NPD and sociopaths. So think of like NPD, think of it being on like a scale. And you have like traits and tendencies. Then you have like diagnosed like NPD where they have 5 or more traits. And then you start getting further and you have sociopath and psychopath. Typically like the switch that I've seen and understand to the best of my knowledge is the idea of like whenever you get to the place of switching to a sociopath, that's when you start being more calculated, more planning stuff out, and they're getting enjoyment of your pain. So it's not just they're walking away or doing silent treatment. No, it actually brings them pleasure to see that pain. Okay. Excuse me. Can narcissists actually change? They can change as much as they're willing to be honest, 100% honest, be vulnerable, and consistently apply themselves every single day to work on change. Okay. But a lot of times they're not willing to do that. You're working with a therapist. Awesome. I'm glad that you are. I broke my trauma bond, but can't go no contact due to a house together and bills, etc. Any advice on how to communicate? He doesn't know. I know everything I do about his lies. Sometimes you can see about having a mediator do that for you. You know, even like an attorney or someone like that can sometimes step in. Might be a little pricey, but like that's an option. A mediator would probably be like cheaper. But yeah. When does the love bombing usually end? I don't want to say like one thing and have you latch onto it, perfectly, but oftentimes like 6 to 18 months. Yeah, mediators are crap with divorce and with kids. The only reason why I suggested a mediator would have been because of like dealing with like house stuff. Sometimes they can just go and be like, "Hey, do this, this, this." But yeah, no, I agree. Mine skips love bombing. I take a tiny bit of nicest, and the cycle goes on. Yeah, or it might just be like words, and then it switches over. Narc was a woman, so I don't know if there's a difference with men and women narcs. Not necessarily. So the traits are the same. And sometimes how it's exemplified might be slightly different, just the same way like, overt and covert has the same traits, but they're exemplified differently. But men and women narcs are oftentimes the same. Women sometimes might lean a little bit more towards BPD. Don't crucify me, anybody. But women sometimes are more on the BPD side or histrionic. Don't ask me to go on that because I don't have my notes in front of me. That has a lot more stuff, but histrionic is way more sexual in nature. Do narcs feel love or capable of loving someone? No, because a narc isn't capable of loving someone until they're willing to step out of their own way, until they're willing to put someone else above their own needs. Why they act like they don't care after the discard when before it seems like they were totally obsessed? That's just a way to control you. Why do they call you a narc? To be able to project it back on you. Please tell us how to find the narc. Okay, so we'll do this real quick because I learned this from Ro. Okay, so if Ro's still on here, follow her. If she's not on here, we'll follow her anyways. Okay, like take a quick second, go out of the live. Well, not before I tell you. Don't leave yet. Go out of the live and go to either Apple or Google Play. So Apple Store or Google Play. Type in NARC and click download. Okay, go ahead and do it right now. Okay, so go ahead and jump out real quick. Go to Apple Store or Google Play. Just type in NARC. Here's first off. If you do not know what the 9 diagnostic traits of NPD are, download the NARC app. I actually went through today and made sure that all of them are on there and like free for access. So like all you have to do is you set up an account. It's free to set up an account. It doesn't really matter. You can set up an account and you can actually see me explain the 9 traits of narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. It says it's under a course like narcissism is fine. So pop off real quick. I won't say a ton of stuff that's like crazy while you're gone. Pop off real quick. Go to Apple Store or Google Play. Type in NARC, stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, NARC, and sign up there. What you get when you sign up, like the original sign up is just like the base sign up, and then there's 2 levels that we have right now. We're working on changing it around, doing a couple different things, but with the 2 levels, what you get on the premium supported level is you've got weekly lives that happen inside the NARC app where you can actually come on screen. You can interact in a private setting, so it doesn't get broadcasted. It doesn't get put out like this. No one sees it. It's only inside the NARC app. You also get monthly coaching. And that's either with myself or people from all across the country. And some of it's crazy. Like even this past coaching with like some of the stuff that I brought to the table, like people were like, "Are you sure?" And then I got to hear back from a bunch of people that are like, "Wow, like this actually works." Yes, it is in the regular app store. So in the Apple Store or in Google Play. Sorry, I can't like keep think of the names, but yeah, it's a regular app. So just type in NARC, download that. Okay. I read on the feed, there's a book. Yeah, Psychopath Free. That's one of the best books out there. Psychopath Free. Okay. Inside the app, we've got a course on boundaries by Bree. We've got healthy dating after abuse. We've got the lies that the narcissist tells. We've got gaslighting. Those are some of the main courses that are there, with more courses coming. Okay. Does my wife help with coaching on the app? My wife does not. She actually did for a period of time. It wasn't anything that she, didn't enjoy talking to people. It just wasn't what she feels called to do. Okay. Now that you mentioned that, that's something that we're actually going to see about working on doing a podcast. We're going to try to interlude. Yeah, I know, right? We're going to try to launch the podcast hopefully in September. We just have to start recording this month so we can actually bring it out. But yeah, so that's hopefully coming up, is my wife and I doing a podcast. So we have to make like a brand new one. So I've got a couple. Okay, I'll tell you real quick. My thought so far, my vote for it we've talked about a couple of names, but like the vote that I have right now, because we want to have it where it's like for both of us and it's not just like narcissism per se. So what I'm planning on naming the podcast is Trauma, Drama, and Life. And that'll cover just about everything for us. So like we're super excited about that, but hopefully that's going to start coming out here in September. Super quick. All right, this is the spiel, super quick. So we got Virginia Beach coming up. If you want to actually do a workshop with myself and mental illness, it's not a meet and greet. It is a workshop. So if you come, plan to sit down, learn some stuff, bring some stuff to write. We'll probably have some worksheets, like a bunch of stuff, but like we're going to be going in depth of healing after narcissistic abuse. That's coming up September 24th. You can get tickets on either one of our bios. October 15th, Austin, Texas. Tickets are going to release for that on 8/22/22. So they're coming up. We're just finalizing some details on that. In Austin, Texas, you're going to be able to meet with 10 of the Narc Avengers that are on these platforms trying to help promote awareness, growth, healing, and change, and help people understand what's going on. You'll be able to book private one-on-ones with people there to be able to talk about your story, do like what you do on Zoom, but actually see us in 3D, be able to talk through a couple things. There's also an exclusive Q&A that's coming up. There's a meet and greet. There's just a crap ton of things. So I can't even keep up with them all. Toronto's coming up in November. I want to say it's the 19th because like I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So we're super excited. Thanks so much. I see several people that said you downloaded it. Appreciate it. So, I mean, it's there for you guys to be able to use and be able to understand. So we've got some amazing stuff, a lot of stuff that people put on there. Like, at first I was like, okay, like, wait a second. Then I had someone like, just kind of like, hey, like you have to understand, like there's coaches out there that are charging, $20, $40, $60, $80, $100 for just like monthly coaching. Like we do that inside the app, $20. Plus you get no contractor, you get no contact tracker, plus journaling, plus the courses, plus interaction with other people, asking advice, sharing your story with other survivors, like interacting, having a lot of stuff like that, plus the weekly lives that happen. There's a lot of stuff that are coming. Yes, they are coming to Toronto. I'm not coming. I'm not able to make it this year, but they are coming to Toronto in November. More details come on that. Yeah, either look up on Google or on Google. I think it's Google Play, the Play Store. Yeah. And then also Apple, it's just NARC. Yep, you got it. NARC. Psychopath free. You can get that anywhere. I actually hope probably by the end of this month, I'm not going to promise too soon, but at the end of this month, I should have secured and actually have it where you can download Psychopath free from my website. I'm working on getting the PDF and actually getting it like uploaded where you can actually access it. So that's something that we're working on. There's like there's a million things that we're working on, and then there's also a million things in the back of my mind that's like still like we're working on as well. So it's crazy. Did I quit my day job to do this full time? I did. So this is actually month 3 of us doing it full time. So June, July. Yep. So this is the 3rd month of us doing it full time. So I was working for Chick-fil-A for 10 years, developing, training, coaching teams all across the U.S. And then I worked for Amazon as an area manager for about 1.5 years, and now I'm doing this full time. So super excited because the doors have opened up of where I'm supposed to be and realizing more of what my calling is supposed to be and the place that I'm supposed to be. I'm just tongue-tied tonight. I don't know what it is. I'm not super tired. I got my 4.5 hours of sleep last night. I mean, it might have been 6. I got more last night, so I was excited. He stopped answering my texts. If he's the narcissist and you're not the narcissist, then block. Don't text him back. Okay. Where's the next one? What? I just like ran through them all. If you're on YouTube, I can put up little banners. Next one, September 24th. I put in one of the chats earlier. Here, let me see if I can put the link in. Do I have it saved? Yeah, I do. There you go. Dropping the link for September 24th. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Myself, mental illness. It's a 4-hour workshop. So like, don't come expecting just to hang out and not heal, grow, and change. Like literally 4-hour workshop. 4-hour workshop dealing on recovery after narcissistic abuse. And the main people speaking and helping you is myself and Lee Hammock, mental illness. We're super excited. Okay. What if someone was unfaithful to a potential narc before we figure out they are one? Well, the narc will probably like disown you and think that it's the worst thing ever. Okay. Because they can cheat on you, but you're not allowed to cheat on them. Okay. Can you talk about how narcs tell on themselves? Mine actually said he realized his behavior was interesting. So a lot of times was sociopathic. Okay, you got it. A lot of times narcissists will tell on themselves by they'll put that on you. You know, they'll blame you. They'll say, hey, like this is your fault. Hey, this is something you did. When in reality, like it's not, but they're telling on themselves like that. This is a good point. I had to read that a couple times. I messed with it on the cheating intentionality hurting me. He doesn't care at all. No, he doesn't. There's a webinar on the 18th. If I miss it, can I hear it somewhere else later? Yes. So with the web, I don't think I have the link actually. Go to, you're on Instagram. Go to Carrie McAvoy's site. Like she's the one that's putting on the webinar, or go to Roller Coaster Love. She's trying to sell a bunch of tickets. She's trying to beat Lee. So yeah, if you go to the webinar, I don't even remember what the title is. I'm so sorry. If you go to the webinar on the 18th, go to Roller Coaster of Love, find it in her bio. Okay, I'll give her a shout out because she's trying to beat Lee. There's some competition going on there. But that one's happening on the 18th. If you're not going to be there, if you're not going to be able to attend, then buy the tickets now and you'll get the replay, because I think the replay is going to go live later, but I think it's going to be at a higher price. So if you can't go, sign up now. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of like backwards. Why can't I leave? Yeah, it's why can't I leave and then like something else. But yeah, and it's psychologist, author, it's a bunch of stuff on there. Okay. Is it common for narcissists to make future plans without telling you their plans? Yeah, especially if they're going to do it without you. Can you explain their porn addiction? Porn addiction is porn addiction. Narcissists a lot of times use it to sedate or just feel like whatever they want to feel in the moment. It's all about them. Yeah, so the webinar title is Why Can't I Just Leave? You can go find it at either, really like any of the narc Avengers, I think have it, except me. I literally think I deleted it today by accident when I was like swapping stuff around, getting the September 24th thing up. So, sorry. Are you sure they would just leave? He took me back and asked me to marry him, but he still brings up that I cheated. Yeah, he's still going to bring it up and like use it to triangulate you, use it to make you feel bad. A lot of times after a big like issue or stuff, they'll be like, hey, like, let's get married. Like, that's just another way to like lock you in. Yeah, a lot of times porn addiction is common with narcissists because of the fact of like, I'm entitled. Like, I'm entitled to something, you know, whether that's pornography, whether that's sex, whether that's money, whether that's, you know, freeloading off of you, like whatever it might be. Okay. Jess, absolutely. Jess, a lot like keep looking at the content we produce, keep looking at YouTube, stuff like that, because like all of that stuff is we're putting out constantly to try to be able to help people as you're going through this. So definitely get that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Best advice for going to court with the ex. Judge Anthony Bompiani. You're on TikTok, so look up Judge Anthony. He's got the best advice. Do all nerds cheat? I normally say yes. Mine didn't want me to have friends. I hid them because she found out I lied. I've been paying the price. Yeah, very true. Narc husband and his girlfriend are both police officers. I get nervous sometimes. Yeah, that could be very dangerous sometimes. You have to be really careful. How do narcissists justify, rationalize their double standards? They feel pain. Why do they then disregard we feel pain when they cheat on us? They feel pain. So I guess I'm going to skip over the they feel pain part because I'm not connecting how that connects. I'm sorry. But so what I would say is like the narcissist will justify what they're doing. They'll justify the double standards because it has to match up to the mask. It has to match up with the story that they're telling themselves, the story that they're putting out there. And so that mask has to be something that everything else backs it up. So if I'm cheating, but I'm telling myself I'm a good person, then therefore I'm a good person even if I'm cheating. Anthony Bompiani. But no, on TikTok, it's just Judge Anthony. Sorry, on Instagram, it's Anthony Bompiani. But on TikTok, I'm like 99% sure it's just Judge Anthony. So if you just type that in, you should pull it up. Any good resources to help with dealing with a narcissistic mother? Therapy, of course, but I was wondering if there are any pages you recommend. Brittany, do you have anything to recommend for a narcissistic mother? I know you mainly talk mother-in-law. But with that, one that I would suggest, because it talks about narcissists and familial systems, would be The Narcissist in Your Life by Julie Hall. The Narcissist in Your Life by Julie Hall. That one's a good one because it talks about that. And then Brittany came through. She said Daughters of Narc Mothers. I guess that's a book. So look up Daughters of Narc Mothers. Okay. Why won't my narc answer simple questions or randomly give me the silent treatment in our third-party co-parenting app? Control. The narc won't answer simple questions because they don't want to feel like they're being controlled, and they'd rather control the narrative of what they're putting out there. And they'll give you the silent treatment to try to make you feel bad. Okay, so Hannah on Facebook. We've got Daughters of Narc Mothers and also Recovering from Narcissistic Mothers. Both of those are books you can look up. Okay. Will I ever be good enough for narc? That one's for narc moms. So it might be a little bit different because I think you're asking with a narc mom. But yeah. And then Bree with Abuse is Abuse. She had a narcissistic mom. And then Catherine Kleiss, Stan Coaching, she had a narcissistic dad. I gave him a chance, and it took one day. He's back on drugs and ghosted me. I knew it. He was loving for one day, and I don't exist. Yes. I mean, honestly, I hate that it happened that way, but in one sense, it's good that it happened that way versus it being like another month or another year. So, like, take that as a sign, block, ghost, go no contact. Okay? Does a narc's long-term friends ever see them for who they really are? Not if they're narcissistic, or not if they don't care, not if they're enabling, or not if they're just so shallow that it doesn't matter. Otherwise, they do. Reactive abuse. Yeah. So like, why would they record arguing when he would record me? So a lot of times that's so they can triangulate you with someone else. Oh, like, look how abusive the relationship I'm in. Like, look how awful this person is. Or, look how like this happens. Oftentimes it's getting you to react so they can say like, you're the abusive one. How can someone co-parent with the potential narc? Look up parallel parenting. Look up the Biff method. How do narcissists? Oh, no, I answered that one. My instincts were on fire. It's like, they are cheating, but you can't prove it. Yeah, if your instincts are going on fire, you're probably right. Okay. How do you go no contact when you have kids and he is the income? Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. If you're getting a divorce, then you might be able to get some income from that. You might have to move. You might have to start a job. There's a lot of different things that end up having to go there. My narc shows improvement, or is he just better liars? Oftentimes they're just better liars. How are they being honest, vulnerable, and showing consistent change? And how are they demonstrating that on a day-to-day basis? Recently discovered narcissist husband cheated on me and now is acting like nothing happened. Yes, that's common, because if they act like nothing happened, then you feel bad for bringing it up so much. Gets upset at me constantly, bringing it up. Just read that. Now is blaming me because I'm the reason he cheated. What the heck? No, you're not the reason he cheated. The reason he cheated. I gotta like temper myself so I don't like get like the video taken down or something. The reason he cheated is because he's just an asshole. Like he wanted to view himself being more important than the relationship. Okay. You're not the reason. You didn't force him to cheat. You didn't hold a gun to his head and say, hey, go cheat on me. No, he made that choice. But he's using you to be able to blame it on you so he doesn't have to feel bad for his actions. How can we stop reacting so angrily? Know that that's the whole goal. When you react angrily, you're playing into their hand and you're giving them what they want. Okay. I tried to explain cognitive dissonance to my ex, but he sent me angry texts, but then immediately blocked me so I couldn't respond. He did this over and over. If he blocks you, block him back, go no contact. It hurts. It happens over and over. When I say I'm done, he threatens me harm. Yes. And he'll keep doing that because you'll keep like opening the door and still staying with him. Okay. My narc came back to hoover me at work. I was very mean to him. Should I call him back to apologize? Absolutely not. If he's a narcissist and he came back to hoover at your work, do not apologize. Block, go no contact. Make sure you don't like talk to him at all. Okay. I know you might feel bad, but you feel bad, and he's probably counting on you feeling bad so that you reach out, so that he can get back with you, or so he can make you react. Okay. Why do they gloat about their porn addiction? Proud that they hit it so well. I mean, this sounds like pride, probably like narcissistic as well. But at that point, there's no point of like them trying to heal or change. Like it's just like, oh, like I'm happy I did this. I'm good at doing this. This fits my ego of being the best porn addict out there. I mean, they'll twist it any way they can. Do you give them a reason for breaking up with my narcissistic boyfriend, or do we just separate? So I would just say just go, because oftentimes you've already given them reasons. You just feel like you have to give them one last more try, but a lot of times it's like the 80th try. Like you've already said, like, hey, don't cheat on me. You've already said X, Y, and Z. Like you just need to pull the plug and just move forward. Is there verbal, emotional abuse or threats you can document? Might still be able to. Oh, you might be talking to, yeah. So like anytime get a restraining order with kick out order. Yeah. So definitely anytime you can record stuff, like, make sure to write stuff down, like screenshots, like all kinds of stuff like that. No contact would drive you crazy with a mix of lies and truths. That's why we have to focus on getting you clear about the truth apart from the narcissist. Like that's when I talk with people, I try to help them work through the trauma bond. Like it's toxic, but I still want to go back. I try to help them like process that and work through that. It's a whole system that I teach people, that we walk through, that you demonstrate, that you put into motion to help you live an aspect of truth. Because otherwise you're dealing with the fog, the fear, the obligation, and guilt. And you can't break free from that without truth. And so we get to the place where you're understanding the truth of the situation, of how they demonstrated love, how they demonstrated care, respect, honesty, faithfulness, all that type of stuff. And we get people through the trauma bond, then we get them to a place where maybe they're no contact, or maybe they're at the place where they're in like the ruminating phase, or they're at the place where, hey, there's peace because they're not getting abused, but it still doesn't feel peaceful. And then my goal is to like help people get through that detox phase of detoxing from a toxic person. And then as we get through that, then my goal is to help build people up of how do we work on your self-worth, of your self-confidence, and building in positive boundaries, positive habits, positive triggers that keep you from going back to the narcissist and keep you from getting with a toxic person in the future. There's literally like the 3 pillars that I work through on a day-to-day basis with people that I talk to all over the globe, because I'm trying to help people heal, grow, and change. They say they don't show emotion, but they think they're getting their way if we don't show any reaction. What's the best way to establish boundaries if we have a family together? See, the hard thing with, so there's one thing, because a lot of times people ask about boundaries. One, we have the boundary course. I've got several videos on YouTube that talk about like setting boundaries with the narcissist, how to set boundaries, goals/boundaries. One of the things that you have to understand is like you're going to set boundaries with a person that is going to break them. Like 9 times out of 10, they're going to break them, and they're going to accelerate it so much that the end result, the end consequence is typically leaving. And the problem is a lot of times people hesitate to start off with the first boundary because they don't want to get to the end result that says, hey, you need to leave this person. But that's what happens when another person is unwilling to respect you, and they're going to keep rolling over you. So a lot of times you have to establish boundaries and have a consequence of like, hey, like I'm not going to engage with this conversation if you're going to keep screaming at me. Or like, hey, like we're not having this conversation like here. Or like, hey, like you cheated on me. That means I'm not going to be with you. Like there has to be a consequence. If there's not a consequence, then your boundary doesn't mean anything. Can you gain your self-esteem by staying with them but being distant? It's extremely hard, and a lot of times it doesn't work. Do you think it's true that empaths attract narcissists? No, I don't. I think what's true that attracts narcissists is people that don't have boundaries and people that don't know who they are. What if a kid is showing traits? If a kid is showing narcissistic traits, then you need to get into familial therapy, and you need to work with the family system, because that's coming from the family. Hardest lesson I had to learn was saying the word no and to not feel bad about it. Yeah, absolutely. Transitional supply. Do you think it's transitional because the narc realizes the supply is going to catch on? That's a good question. My first instinct is saying no. I don't necessarily think that the narc knows they're going to catch on. Maybe they walked into it thinking I'm only going to get this lie for a short period of time, so I might as well make it good till I find someone. But sometimes it's like they already know who the next person is going to be. They just need someone in between. Do they hate aging? His friends praise me for looking 50 and he had new supply by my 50th. In some senses, they don't like that idea of it because they're trying to live in the present and not focus on like the future. How, as a parent, do we ensure our children do not grow up to have NPD? Helping them process and deal with their emotions and giving them a safe place to experience those emotions and how to work through them. A lot of times you see this, probably the best way exemplified is through like respectful parenting, where a person actually like gets down on their level and helps them like process and works through those emotions, because you don't have that on the narcissistic side and you don't have that with like narcissistic relationships. Okay. I left my ex May 25th. He keeps popping up into my work events in my office. Power mover him. Yes, absolutely. He's looking to triangulate and to hoover and to get a reaction. How can they walk away so easily even after years of being together from family members? So the reason why they walk away so easily is because they don't have anything invested. Like most people think that they have something invested because they're love bombing. Well, the love bombing was a grooming technique to get you addicted. The love bombing was a grooming technique to get you to believe in a mask that wasn't actually real. So a lot of times people are like, well, wait, like how could they leave me? They said they loved me. Well, newsflash, they didn't. And I'm not trying to say that to be like cold, callous, or mean, but I'm trying to say that to like wake you up of like, a lot of times people are like, wait a second, they did love me. I know they did. Okay, well, tell me, how did they demonstrate it? How they demonstrate love, how they demonstrate affection, how they demonstrate respectfulness, how they demonstrate faithfulness, how they demonstrate honesty. Because if they're not demonstrating that stuff, they don't love you. Because love is not just a happy-go-lucky feeling that pops into your heart and makes you feel fuzzy. Love is a choice. And that's why people like ask me like all the time in like different questions and comments. They're like, so do you love your wife? Because you're a narcissist. I believe I'm exemplifying love now because I'm changing, not for her, but as I'm changing myself, I'm all now demonstrating that change in my relationships and with people around me. Because with that, I'm making the choice every single day to not engage in those destructive behaviors that hurts other people. Okay? The narcissist didn't care. Narcissists only care about themselves, not in a self-love way. They only cared about themselves in regards to the mask. They only cared about what they were putting out there. Love is an action. Lexi, very good. Very good. Do narcs move countries, turn off their phone to focus on the new supply, or get old supply back? 100%. I don't have a good example off the top of my head, but I do know that that's happened. What happens if the love bombing completely stops for good, but they still won't leave you alone? At that point, they are relaxing in the chaos that they've created and being comfortable with it. The counselor said he fell in love. The counselor is full of shit. Counselor probably doesn't understand narcissism, especially if they don't understand what's going on in the relationship. Sorry, but that's just my personal opinion. Tinder Swindler. Great, great movie. Watch that. That is a narcissist in action that is very adept at future faking. My narc says he doesn't like to be around other people. Is this possible for a narc? Yeah, absolutely. The movie is Tinder Swindler. It's on with an I. But yeah, Tinder Swindler. It's on Netflix. Okay. NPD, no, I don't believe NPD is genetic. I believe it's upbringing, it's nurture. I'm scared to block him. He said he wanted to snap so hard, like one of those schoolboys who'd shoot up the school. You know, in that case, if you do block, then make sure that you are in a safe place. You know, a lot of times when I'm working with people building like an exit strategy, we go to where they serve papers or where they block and things like that, and they end up like leaving. You know, whether that's for a period, a day, a time, but like moving into someone else's house, like trying to see like what reaction is going to happen. He enjoyed when you made me cry. My tears did not move him. Absolutely. That's a lot of times with narcissists. Is there hope if his whole family is narcs? Let me tell you what hope is supposed to be relied on when it comes to narcissists. comes to the fact of honesty, vulnerability, consistent change. What do you see demonstrated? If you don't see anything demonstrated, then there is no hope. My narc is already cheating on the new supply. It's crazy. Yeah, 100%. Because what they're going after at that point is they're chasing the high of the chase and not the high of the person. Aren't self-aware narcs more dangerous? I think a lot of narcs out there are self-aware. The problem is they don't care. A lot of times people think, oh, self-aware narcs, they would understand what's going on. They'd understand my pain. Self-aware narcs just mean they understand who they are, but it doesn't mean that they're going to change. It doesn't mean they're going to help. It doesn't mean they're going to serve other people or work. There's other narcissists popping up all over the place, especially on TikTok right now. There's a couple narcissists popping up with like new videos and all this kind of stuff. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, they're narcissists. Okay. It's great if people can help like understand, but at the end of the day, like how are they helping other people? A lot of times they're not. Do narcissists leave new supply to go back to old supply? Yes, a lot of times they do that. Love shouldn't hurt. Well, that's why with a narcissistic relationship, it's not love, it's manipulation. What about narcs with sexually abusive behaviors, manipulation, and grooming? A lot of that goes back to control of them wanting to be in charge. That's the ego, that's the entitlement. My ex is self-aware, he just won't tell his victims that. Yeah, it's because he doesn't care. I would love to hear from your wife and how she deals with it. We did a live a while back, like a year ago, I think. It's on YouTube. You can look it up there. We're actually going to be looking at, holy cow, it's already 10 o'clock. We're actually looking at doing a podcast coming up, hopefully in September. Hopefully in September, we're going to release a podcast with myself and my wife. Do you actually love your wife? Yes, I believe I do. And I believe I'm demonstrating that by my actions. If you see change, how can you trust it? It has to be consistent and it has to be honest and it has to be vulnerable. The thing that trips people up with this is like honesty is honesty about everything in the past and then being honest like in the present. Vulnerability, I view as taking it to the next level of like, what are they feeling, experiencing, and how is stuff actually going on in their head in the moment? That's that aspect of vulnerability. And then consistent change is therapy, is like seeing like you have to be able to like track it. Like think of it that way. Like it needs to be like a lot of times I talk about like SMART goals. It needs to be quantifiable. It needs to be time sensitive. Like you need to see like, hey, this week he abused me less than last week. Like I know that sounds like trite and it sounds like stupid in one sense, but like at the end of the day, like you need to see progress. If you don't see progress, then get out. Is it common for a narc to have a God complex? Absolutely, because they're their ego and their entitlement. A lot of narcissists think that they are God. That's why they're not afraid of any consequences, because they don't believe. Can a person be a sociopath and a narcissist? Absolutely. A sociopath will always be a narcissist. A narcissist isn't always a sociopath. It's kind of like a sliding scale. All right, really quick spiel. If you guys haven't had a chance, download the NARC app. Type in NARC. There's monthly coaching. There's weekly live. There's courses. There's no contact tracker, journaling. There's interaction, getting advice. Download the NARC app. Just type in NARC. It stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. NARC. Apple Store, Google Play. If you guys don't follow on any other channels, we're Raw Motivations everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I think even Twitter, LinkedIn, actually, we're starting up that. Pinterest, but we haven't been uploading stuff, so like don't really worry about that. Don't focus on that yet. Instagram, obviously, it's like all that kind of stuff. So we're on all there. And if you guys need to listen on the go, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, we're on there everywhere. Raw Motivations. Okay. Would love to be able to interact with you guys there. I talk with people every single day all across the globe. And a lot of times my early morning ones starting at like 5 a.m., a lot of times I'm talking to people in Germany or Australia or New Zealand, or, sometimes people go into bed in Hawaii. So like I talk to people all over the place to try to help them deal with the trauma bond, work through limbo land, detoxing from the narcissist, and work on their self-worth and self-confidence moving forward with boundaries and keep living moving forward. Okay. Love to be able to talk to you. You can reach out at rawmotivations.com. Any of the links in the bios. Quick spiel of what's coming up. September 24th, workshop. Myself, Lee Hammock Mental Healness. We're going to be doing this in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It is in person only. It's limited to 20 people. Well, as of before I started this live, 19 people, because there's already at least one person that signed up. I don't know if anybody else has while we've been in the live. But that's September 24th, October 15th, Austin, Texas. There's going to be private one-on-ones. There's going to be exclusive question and answer time with 10 of the narc Avengers, and there's still going to be a 3-hour event of meet and greet, and also speaking at that point as well. So we'd love to have you there. November 19th, Toronto. That's happening as well. As far as I know, I think there's like 6 narc Avengers that are going to be in Toronto on November 19th. So that's super exciting as well. Not doing anything in December. We're going to come back hot and heavy coming next year. My goal is to have maybe like 6 on the books. We're probably going to be hitting up like major cities. I don't know, but we're just trying to go off some of the analytics of where we know people are talking and coming from. So like New York, Chicago. We'll probably be back in Texas sometime later next year. I know we're going to hit up the West Coast, probably like up Northwest as well. And also we got to do like Midwest and stuff. So anyways, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. We're super excited. Download the NARC app. We got several people on here that have already have it. Yeah, New York City, it will definitely be coming to there sometime. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully by the end of the month, Lord willing, we got a bunch of stuff coming up with a journal. So I'm looking to release a journal that's going to be like self-reflective and help like after the narcissist, like processing different things. It's going to proof, then it's going to go to Amazon to self-publish, and we'll be able to knock that out. Course coming up, hopefully by the end of the year. If this one thing is September 24th, if this workshop actually like kicks off or goes well, then we're going to probably see about doing others. Right now, the first one's like very limited, but it's a 4-hour event. It's a 4-hour event with myself, mental healness, coaching, working, speaking, inspiring, helping you guys heal, grow, and change after the narcissistic relationship. We're super excited about it. We just announced it yesterday. And it's, as far as like last night, one person had already signed up. So we're super excited. Super excited. Anyways, hopefully that'll help give you guys some idea of the stuff that's coming up. That's like a big spiel. If you missed any of that, or if you missed any of this live, go back, watch it on YouTube. If you missed any of that information, and check out link in bio. Oh yeah, the stuff for October 15th, the tickets are not going to be on sale until the 22nd. We're finalizing some stuff over there, and they're going to go live on our website as a whole, which is narcavengers.com. Right now the ticket part isn't like live, of the one-on-ones and also the exclusive Q&A. It is going to be like register. So like I'm trying to get people that like once it goes live, you'll also just be able to register like for the free stuff, like showing up for the meet and greet. That way we know how many people are going to come, because it's a limited event. I think technically we can fit in like 200 people. So we can't go any crazier than that. I think that's our max. Well, I do have to know how many people, because like we're supposed to pay by the amount of people. So I did like the lowest amount, and then I talked to the owner and I'm like, hey, like once I know more people signing up, like I'll pay you extra for the amount of people or whatever. So a lot of stuff going on. Carrie's going to check out the venue in 4 days. She does on the 15th. That's why the tickets are going on sale the 22nd. So, but yeah. I caught him having inappropriate conversations. I left. He's now shown how much he wants to change. The problem is it's hard to tell how much he changed to be able to control you and to be able to get you back. So if you take the relationship off the table and you don't go back, will he actually continue changing? Will he actually continue with that path? A lot of times they won't. Okay. All right, we're going to be wrapping it up. You all been awesome tonight. Going to be back on next Thursday. I'm going to be shooting for 8:30 now. Hopefully that works for everybody. But I have to change some stuff up on my end, because there's a lot of stuff going on over here that we're trying to keep up with. So hopefully you caught all that stuff. But we're super excited. If you want to talk one-on-one sometime, would love to be able to interact with you. I don't know what all I have free this week. I want to say I had as of earlier today, I had 2 appointments free on Friday and 2 on Saturday. Someone asked about that. But otherwise, next week is wide open for a lot of things. Narcissist wants to take everything they can and go no contact. Everything, money, business, and credit, they will discard and reel in for years until this is achieved, until they are stable. Yeah, they'll keep fighting for it. So especially like going through the court system is essential. I'm trying to make sure that you don't get completely ripped off. But yeah. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody being here. If you didn't get a chance, YouTube just went live with like some subscription things. So like you can like sign up to be able to get like alerts, be able to have your question pop up first kind of a thing. Same thing with TikTok. You can actually see we've got in the chat right now, the first person to sign up, actually Rising from the Ashes. So she had, I'm sorry, like Rising from the Ashes had, it says right beside it, AGHC. And that actually stands for what Raw Motivations is here for. Okay, which is awareness, growth, healing, and change. Okay, and that's what we're here for. We're trying to build awareness, trying to help people. That's what we do every single day by producing free content, by having the NARC app, by doing the one-on-ones, by doing the workshops, all that kind of stuff. So we're super excited. Anyways, that's what I got. We're going to go ahead and start logging off, signing off here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Instagram, you all have a great night. Instagram, you had a little link in my bio, but also you can watch my story. It has Lee Hammock, mental healing, talking a little bit about the September thing that's coming up here, September 24th. Super excited. So anyways, Instagram, we're going off Instagram as long as I can find everything. I don't know where it went for Instagram. Oh, there it is. There's like a whole nother thing to like stop now on Instagram because I'm running it all through like one camera. It gets me confused. Anyways, there we go. Instagram. Bye-bye. Okay. Facebook, YouTube, thank you all so much for hanging out. Appreciate everybody helping out, asking questions, being nice, supportive. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. If anybody missed any of this, feel free to watch it on YouTube. It's always saved on YouTube.